Welcome to the ZOpium Den, y'all. House of the Anti-Fuddy-Duddy Bible Study. CJ and I welcome you. All right. Well, I hope you got your shots. Not that not that so-called vaccine shot, but the shots for the chapter that we're reading. That leprosy. You need that leprosy shot, right? Them unholy herpes, man. You don't want none of that. So, yeah, we are in part 3. This is the stage 3 shot.
Oh no.
This is a stage 3 shot of dealing with leprosy, or actually in the Old Testament it's called zarat, or it could be pronounced zarat, right? In my Bible it's spelled, in my Hebrew Study Bible or Jewish Messianic Bible, it's pronounced zarat. But you guys know that my Hebrew sucks anyway, so make sure you look it up for yourself. Go and do the thing where it like pronounces it for you. Hear it in a robotic voice, zarat, zarat, whichever, but anyway, that pronunciation I'm sure is going to be better than mine. Well, bottom line is you don't want it. Don't get it. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, y'all, let us get. I hope you guys are doing well, and we're about to do even better because the high priest and king, the Holy Spirit, right, in his name, is about to take the floor, man, and tell us how the cow ate the cabbage. All right. So we about to get schooled by the Holy Spirit, and we love it. So let the class clown, go ahead and step aside for a second. Actually, let me stand right here and invite and welcome our high priest and king. Lord, we hope our study is a blessing to you.
Yes.
Help us to to edify each other based on what it is that you tell us. And, we want to be effective salt and light for you, Lord. We want to be fruitful for your glory. We want to be able to turn folks on to you and do what we can to report of you in a way that's pleasing to you. Just and no other truth get in the way, not our self-righteousness, not anything. Get in the way of what it is that you want known, what you need for us to know so that we can know you and recognize you. So we thank you so much for that, Father, and your resolve and your shalom and your joy to all in this fellowship right now. We thank you guys so much for showing up. The Lord's blessing to you, and let's bless him with this study. Yes. All right, in Yeshua's name.
In Yeshua's name.
Amen.
Amen.
You can really bless him with one of these mugs. He loves it when you toast him with these mugs.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Right? It makes everything taste so much better. It'll turn your coffee into wine. Yeah, okay, that works too, right? Turn your water into wine, and turn your wine into coffee, and then,
I was gonna say.
Hey, why not? It's like chameleon coffee, or, it just turns into whatever you want, right?
It's a magical mug.
Exactly. It's a magical mug. Actually, we do, the sludge mugs are like magic mugs. Sludge mugs. Well, I mean, because when I drink my coffee, I drink it like sludge, man, right? Yeah. That's how I like my grind, man.
Pun intended.
That's right. Gunpowder. That's how I like my grind. Right, motor oil when I make it, man. Because I like almond milk, right? And I like to dump a whole bunch of almond milk and like sugar in it. So I need like a robust coffee, like to stand up to it. It's like, hey, there's some coffee in here still. There's a little bit of room, but it's I like my coffee, like really sweet. So, like you, baby. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that means that you too sweet. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Touche.
Yeah. I'm straight up hyperglycemic on your loving up in here, girl. Yeah.
Ew, dork.
Dork all day. Okay, let's do it. So we're at 13, and let's kick it off on 40.
Verse 40.
Was it verse 40?
Yeah.
See, something's going on, man. I got gremlins, man. My scrolly thing that scrolled away from where it was supposed to be. There it is.
Great.
All right, we back on track.
Leviticus 13, verse 40.
That's right, Leviticus 13, verse 40. All right. Let's do it, man. I can't stop drinking this coffee. It tastes so good coming out of this mug, man. Right on. Okay, so 40 through 44. Let's see. Where you at, 40? Come on, 40. Where you at? Okay. Baldness. It's like, Zo, with that peanut head of yours, you had a hard time finding this one? Okay. All right, let's do it. If a man's hair has fallen from his head, he is bald. All right. He's got that, what was that? The alopecia. All right.
Aww.
Alopecia. All right. He is clean, but he's still clean though. Yeah. All right. Or if the borders of his face become bald, his forehead is bald. He has a bald forehead. It's like, what did he normally have? They're like some like big old eyebrows or something like
Right.
that. A big caterpillar crawling across his face or something like that. It's like, I got a forehead mustache, man. Like wolf man, like my forehead.
That's what I was picturing.
But I'm pretty sure it's just talking about, the where the hairline meets, the forehead.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's talking about. Setting up for male
I
pattern.
did need
Yeah,
clarification.
I don't know. Sometimes you have some people like them hirsute folks, man. Like probably like what was that name? Esau. I mean, he probably had just hair, just
Yeah.
just like coming all the way down. It's like long like eyebrows and like snuffleupagus or something like that. Let me see. So we got okay. So he's clean. Despite this baldness of his forehead. His forehead is bald. He is clean, but on the bald head or bald forehead, there's a reddish. If he's got this reddish, white plague, funky stuff, it's Zaharat breaking out in his bald head or bald forehead. Then the Kohen is to examine him, and behold, if the rising of the plague is reddish white on his bald head or bald forehead, like the appearance of Zaharat in the skin of the flesh, he is a man with Zaharat. Which one could say leprosy. I don't know if it's like the modern leprosy. We talked about this like earlier and stuff like that. This is Zaharat in the skin of the flesh, the modern leprosy, like what they call Hansen's disease, right? So this is, and like I said, we talked about this like in the last chapter, so I'm not going to belabor it too much more. But I hope you guys will at least listen to the previous chapters when we, talk about like this leprosy, like in the New Testament, in contrast to Zaharat. This basically it's an easy thing to just kind of sum them up as one and the same. And for all intents and purposes, they do relate to each other, but there's some nuances in here. And like I said, we won't go into that too much in this chapter, but we do discuss it in the previous ones. He is a man with Zaharat. He is unclean. The Kohen shall definitely pronounce him unclean. His plague mark is on his head. Okay, so he's got this baldness, and if it doesn't show certain signs, then he's clean. He's more than clean. He's Mr. Clean.
No, jeez.
Right? Mr. Clean. Hey, is it a coincidence? It's like Mr. Clean, they're going to make him a bald head and all that sort of stuff.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. Should have Mr. Clean. Right? Was it cleans your house in just a minute? Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean cleans up everything that's in it. Something like that. It's like, Zoe, you're old.
No.
This was the jingles back in the day, man. Mr. Clean Show. It's like, it kind of fits. Like, he's got the bald head, he's got the earring, the servant earring and stuff like that. Here, I'm here to clean your house.
I thought about that. How
right?
Weird.
And so I guess, he was also, it was suggested that he was supposed to be a genie, just like Mr. Clean. He's like genie in a bottle, cleans up all your messes and stuff like that. It wasn't really supposed to be a genie, but, anyway, I just think that's a funny correlation.
It is.
Right? So now let's see. When we talk about bald, y'all, the word for bald is going to be karaak. And it's particularly the balding at the back of the head when we talk about the carry-out kind of balding, right? Or the crown or what have you. Then there's the other kind of baldness that's going to start from the front. So we talk about that forehead balding. Is basically talking about male pattern baldness, right? That's going to be gabak off. My Hebrew sucks, right? So that's going to be like more like that male pattern baldness. And when we're talking about let me see, the lip, like you'll hear, we're going to talk about that in just a second, just while we're here. When we talk about the lip, it's going to be really more so referring to the mustache when the person has to call out unclean and stuff like that. Okay. So they're covering, their mustache. So when you get down to it, it's almost like this person's got this like, they're supposed to kind of like let their hand, their hair like hang. It's like, I don't know what hair they have left. It's like it's balding all out and stuff like that. And it's kind of like this nappy male pattern baldness mullet that they got going on, right? And it's like, I guess that wouldn't be a mullet, but it's like balding out. That's like a skullet, that they got going on there. So at any rate, that's what's going on in there. Let's take a look at, and we're going to tie all this stuff together in just a minute.
Was that intentional? Like,
what's that?
That's how they wore their hair?
That was the order.
Oh my goodness! The priest had to do that. When they announced the person who had Zaharat, that's what they had to do. Oh, okay.
Right. It's like it had to be very clear that they were showing symptoms right?
Yeah.
You couldn't just profile everybody,
Right.
right? You know, we'll talk about that a little bit.
The sick were quarantined.
Yes.
Not everybody.
Right? Yeah. Like I said,
'Cause they had
as we've long
the
said ever
origin.
since the start of this, y'all, we've been saying it for a while. It's like, dude, the Bible tells us how we're supposed to do this. This whole thing that's going on right now is just so outside of the Word of God. That's how you know.
It's anti-common sense and anti-science.
And very, very anti-God.
And very anti-God.
Right? Most important. That's where it starts. It's like, you know, God is the all science.
Yep.
He's the omniscience. Right? That's the real science right there. But not only does it not square up with that, it doesn't square up with the scientific methods of man and the things that have outlined. It's like, dude, this does not add up. Right? And then how this is playing out in society, it's like, man, this is very, very red flag all day. All right. So let's read from 45 through 46, which is going to say, the one with Za'arat who has the plague mark should wear torn clothes. The hair of his head is to hang loose, babe. He is to cover his upper lip and cry, unclean, unclean, all the days during which the plague is on him. He will be unclean. He is unclean. He is to dwell alone outside of the camp, and that will be his dwelling. So now, when we say unclean, and the word for that is going to be talmeh, and it means defiled, infamous, polluted, unclean, right? And it's coming from the word tameh, meaning foul in a religious sense, defiled, infamous. So it's going to be backing up these terms. And basically what it's telling you is that these are going to be these symptoms, and this person has to clearly show, like with the torn clothes and all that sort of stuff. They have, it's kind of like, it's like an identification. Right? And it's the kind of identification where you don't have to you're already wearing it. Yeah, nobody has to ask you, let me see your papers, right? It's like it's already on display. But the thing is, you're wearing the torn clothes also, so you can see the mark of it on the flesh.
Wow.
Right? So you're making sure that it's you already have the symptoms, and it's like, don't hide the symptoms.
Yeah.
Right? So, you don't want to be a liability to the village or anything like that.
Right.
But the symptoms have to be, very stark. But like I said, once again, this isn't one of those things where it's like, show me your papers or anything like that. You already have the mark in your flesh. You're just making it shown like this. That way, you're not like I said, you're not a liability to the rest of the village.
Right.
And you don't quarantine the whole village.
Right.
This one right here, right? It sucks, but you're really not going to do anybody any favors by shutting everything down. Yeah. That's done more harm to everybody else.
Indeed.
Right?
We have enough proof of that.
Yeah, I'm talking about nutso protocols, right?
Yep.
Man. Okay, so we got, so let's see. Now, it says that all the days the plague is on him. All right, so that sounds to me like the plague can be lifted from him. All right, then we'll explore that in just a little bit.
Interesting.
All right, but this person, it seems that this person doesn't want to follow what was prescribed. All right, so when remember, y'all, God is with them. If you get leprosy, it's like, man, what were you doing?
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
It's like, how you gonna get leprosy, man? God is like right here. And he gave his commandments on how y'all are supposed to do things. And if you got leprosy, man, what were you doing? and when the priest gives you the prescription, and God is there, and you still got leprosy, what were you doing? Yeah. Right? Okay, so let's see. Now, if this person is to be put outside the camp, right? It's evidently they're not registering, the protocols here, and he's going to be put outside the camp, she, until they realize who God is. Mm-hmm. He's there, and then they obey, do what the Lord says.
Yeah.
Right. And because who knows? Like I said, what they were doing. It's like, well, we can kind of, figure it out. It's like, remember, if you got this wound and you dress it wrong, it's when we talk about the mixing fabrics and stuff like that, people call that a bunch of superstitious nonsense. Like, no, the fabrics behave a certain way.
Right.
Right. It is science, y'all.
It is.
Okay. This is, these things
Actual
can,
science.
When it encourages, certain kind of fungus.
Yes.
In that, that these things, they'll get into your flesh. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right. So let's see. Now, this is why, y'all, Jesus, who represents the perfect completion of the 7 days, right? Remember the priest says 7 days, right?
Yeah.
Come back and see me, and then 7 days, right? So it's this repetition of the 7 days points to Jesus, right? Remember, y'all, the Lord in the 6-day account, resting on the 7th, when he says, "Hey, man, this is very good," right? This is the model right here. God basically moving heaven and earth, letting you know that these stars and stuff like this, going to be signs for you and all that sort of stuff, all the work that he did. And he sits back and he rests and says, this is it. God made a cosmic declaration to let you know that this number 7 represents satisfaction to him, right? It's done. It's good, right? So now Yeshua is that. When he says it is finished, he is representing what satisfies the Lord. This is my son. I take delight in him. Yeah. Right? So that's, like I said, it's a cosmic declaration right here. So when the priest is saying, I want you to go and come back and see me in 7 days, that 7, that repetition of 7 is pointing to Yeshua, our high priest, right? Represented by the number 7. So when you go see Jesus, this is you recognizing who he is, right? So when they're like, son of, and they see Jesus, right? And they've got, can you heal me, right? Can you hook me up? That's them recognizing who he is.
Yes.
Right? And the one who represents number 7 can heal them in an instant. Yeah. Okay. Now notice, y'all, awesome. The priests are to go outside the camp. They're to go outside the camp to confirm the leper is healed.
Right.
Right. So they get like a text message and stuff like that, because the leper can't come in there. They get a text message and then they go out there, and they go, check on the leper and say, oh, okay, right. Let's go ahead and follow up on this. So now, but however, Jesus, the high priest, goes outside the camp to heal the leper. They went outside the camp to check on the leper, confirm it. Jesus goes outside to heal. Yeah. Right? So let's take a look at Luke 4:13, 15. Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. I am willing, he said. Be clean. And immediately the leprosy left him. Don't tell anyone, Jesus instructed him. But go show yourself to the priest and present the offering Moses prescribed for your cleansing as a testimony to them. But the news about Jesus spread all the more, and great crowds came to hear him and to be healed of their sickness. This is substantiating what I said earlier. God was with them. Yeah. Okay. Jesus is God with them, and Jesus was God back here also. Yes. It's all Jesus, right? He was there. Now, it ain't no big challenge, y'all, for God to heal them. But it was a big challenge for them to obey him.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Even the most seemingly simple instructions.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying, y'all? It's like, dude, what were you doing?
Right.
When this prescription was given, did you follow the prescription? No, you didn't. You did not obey. Right? So those with Za'arat outside the camp in the OT were stuck with it due to disobedience. All right? The obedient were healed. So now, if I don't think I'm crazy here, y'all. Yeshua's going to demonstrate that that disobedience is the issue.
Yeah.
Right? He heals the disobedient by grace. So he goes out there and it's like, hey, Lord, if you're willing, hook it up, right? Yeah. Lord, can I be cleansed of this? And God's like, yeah. Takes care of it, just like that, right? Now, he heals them by grace. You ain't got to wait no 7-day period, waiting for the blood work to come back and all that sort of stuff. Right. Y'all remember talk about that, right? Ain't no nerve-wracking stuff like that. Healed them on the spot, all right? And he did this by grace, and the leper was immediately disobedient, right? Let's look at the another account of that. Mark 1. 40 through 45, 45. Then a leper came to Jesus begging on his knees, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Moved with compassion, Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. I am willing, he said. Be clean. And immediately the leprosy left him and the man was cleansed. Jesus promptly sent him away with a stern warning. See that you tell no one.
Yeah.
But go show yourself to the priest and present the offering Moses prescribed for your cleansing as a testimony to them. But the man went and openly began to proclaim and spread the news.
Wow.
Flat out disobeyed Jesus, despite the Lord's grace.
Yeah.
Right? But hey, the man, what do you think happened? The man assumed he was justified, right?
Yeah.
Right? What was the harm in it?
Wow.
Right? Maybe he even felt like he was doing the Lord a favor.
Probably, I would think. Yeah.
Right? What's the harm in it? What's the harm in it? Famous last words.
Yeah.
The devil to Eve. What's the harm in it? Right? Simple instruction that God gave. Simple instruction. Despite all the grace that I have given you up front, this is my policy to you. Don't eat from this tree. Simple instruction. Yeah. But what's the harm in it? Right? And then the sin followed. Same thing right here. Right? Come on, Jesus, what's the harm in it, man? I'm going to go tell folks, man. This is amazing. What you did for me is amazing. I'm so grateful. I'm going to go tell. Disobedient. Yeah. Right?
My goodness.
So.
That's weird.
Now, God's like, you allowed yourselves to be governed by your feelings, not by me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how, did you square, did you listen to what I said? Do you square what it is that you think by what I say? No, you're ruled by your feelings, right? So these are the things that get us into so much trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Because we don't square our feelings by the word of God.
100%.
You know, God, you just go ahead and sit back. I'm going to answer to my feelings.
Yep.
Right? And that's what happened here.
How can this be wrong?
Yeah, right? Exactly. It doesn't feel wrong.
Right.
You know, this guy's like, yeah, you know, this ain't going to go well. All right, so now, the priests are supposed to go outside the camp to see the healed leper. Jesus sends the cleansed leper to the priest. Want to know why? Because Jesus is the high priest that went outside the camp to see the leper and healed him. Right? Wow. This isn't one of those things where Jesus is like, hey, do you want me to send a message? You know, I'll go tell them for you. It's like, no, Jesus doesn't have to do none of that, man. I am the priest. Right. I'm the high priest. Yes. Right? And I've come out here to heal you. Yeah. Not just to examine you, to heal you. Right? Yeah. So, awesome stuff. Now let's see, read Leviticus. Let's read Leviticus 13, 47 through 54. All right, where you at, 47? Don't be hiding from me. Okay, there we go. Also, when a garment has a mark of Za'arat on it, whether it is a woolen or a linen garment, whether it is woven or textured linen, or wool, leather, or anything made from leather. No, I'll do leather. How's that sound? No life till leather. That's right. And that's like is that Judas Priest? No, that's Metallica, right? No life till leather. I think that's off the
oh my goodness.
the Kill 'Em All
I don't
album.
remember that.
Yeah, that's old school right there. That's old school Metallica right there. I think I don't know if that was Hit the Lights or I don't know. Anyway. No life till leather.
There's always got to be a song or two in the ZOpium.
That's right, man. Because God's a rocker. All right. Let me see. Where's I just fell on the word greenish. Is that where I left off? Yeah. Or if the mark is a greenish or reddish within the garment. You don't want no green funk, greed or funk growing in your garments. All right. Or in the leather, or in the weaving or the texture, or in anything made from leather, it is the plague of Za'arat. And you should be shown to the Cohen. Go show the Cohen that, man. That's gnarly, dude.
This chapter is giving me the heebie-jeebies. It
I know,
really is. Starting to feel like I'm scratching now.
All right. It is a plague of Za'arat and should be shown to the Cohen. The Cohen is to examine the plague and isolate it for 7 days. Then he is to re-examine the plague on the 7th day. If the plague has spread in the garment, either into the weaving, the texture, or the leather, whatever the use for the leather may be, the plague is a destructive mildew. Right? Oh, man. It is unclean. He is to burn the garment, or the weaving, or the texture, wool or linen, or anything of leather in which the plague resides, for it is a destructive mildew. Ew. It is to be burned with fire. That'd be a cool name for like a full-on doom band. We are destructive mildew. All right. Destructive mildew. Destructive mildew. Don't let me catch you because I put it on you.
Oh, gee.
Stop! Destructive mildew. Destructive mildew. That's some straight up schoolyard kid stuff, man. Like, teacher, he's gonna put destructive mildew on me. Destructive mildew. Okay, all right. 53. The Cohen examines it, and behold, the plague has not spread in the garment, either in the weaving, the texture, or in anything made of leather. The Cohen should command that they wash the thing which has the mark. And yeah, wash that mark, man. Sorry. All right. You need to wash your marks, man. All right.
Stop.
All right. Which has the mark. And he is to isolate it for 7 more days. All right. So let's take a look at that. All right. Now see how this leprosy, y'all, can get into things and into a person. That's why it's talking about don't mix fabrics. It's like, oh, the Bible's stupid. It's superstition. It talks about mixing fabrics. It's like, yeah, there's a reason for that. So as we said earlier, just recap, like say, for instance, wool. It doesn't mean that wool doesn't grow mildew. It's just more naturally mold resistant than like linen. So you don't want to mix those, right? You can't really wash them the same. The fabric, it's in doing that, you tear the fabric and stuff like that. You can shred the wool and stuff. They don't dry the same. You know what I'm saying? So these things have to be, you just don't mix fabrics. But also that is also a picture of mixing other faiths.
I was just going to ask you
right?
Is it over spiritualizing this to say that it could represent mixing faiths?
Not at all. No,
okay.
Because it is a picture of that also, right?
Okay.
That in itself will form a destructive spiritual mildew.
That's true.
Right? We don't want to be spiritual lepers, y'all.
Yeah.
And basically, we might as well be. Without Jesus, that's what we are.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And our high priest comes and cleanses us of that.
Yeah.
But when you're mixing fabrics, when you're assuming that you can mix, see that, and this is, like people try to say, well, the Bible's racist and it doesn't want, people mixing, or they'll try to, it's like, no. It has nothing to do with the nations, or anything like that mixing.
Right.
It's about the mixing of pagan gods, following other cultures and stuff like that, following other laws that don't square up or don't rest on the foundation of God's word. If your morality or your sense of virtues and stuff like that do not rest on the foundation of God, it is built on sand, it will collapse. Nobody will be able to square it with each other. It's my morality or your virtues versus my ideas and stuff like that. And that will encroach on somebody else's. The buck has to stop somewhere, and it stops with God, the eternal foundation to build on. Right? To build a society on, to be able to maintain a society. That is built on rock, and this rock never decays.
Amen.
Right? Everything else, we're made of finite material. The world the universe is all finite material, right? But the word of God, that's a rock that's infinite. It does not decay.
Everything
right?
else is passing away.
That's
the
right.
word of God stands forever.
Darn right. Right? So that's, when we're talking about mixing fabrics, that is the picture of that. But there is actually the literal protocol of not mixing fabrics because it's a sure way to get destructive mildew into your flesh.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Okay. The primitive root, y'all, another interesting thing, when we talk about za'arat, the primitive word, the primitive root meaning of the word za'arat is scourged. Oh. Interesting, right? That the one who came to cure the lepers would be scourged.
Yeah.
Right? It's right there in the core meaning. It's like the Lord's always speaking to us. It's like, yeah, that was me. I was always there. Always letting you know who I am, what I'm going to do, what's going to happen to me. Right? The code has always been there. And it tells you, remember, that when it talks about the gate of the tabernacle, it means to count. The gate means to calculate. It means to add it up. Right? You're supposed to see Yeshua in this information. Right? So now when we're talking about these furs, the skins, the leather, the washing, the burning, these terms that are going to be in there and these protocols for these things. These are the elements foreshadowing John the Baptist prophesying of Jesus. John the Baptist, a Levite, right? Because the priests here, they're Levites, the Cohen, right? John the Baptist, a Levite himself, wore camel fur, a leather belt, right? So it's kind of like giving you all these elements that are going to be pointing to this, right?
Yeah.
Ate locust, a kosher insect for eating, right? It's a strange diet.
Very.
Strange diet. You know what that means? You can't miss them, right?
True.
Eating locust and honey, kosher, right? So he can do these things, right? And all these pictures, these elements are going to be pointing you to this event. They're all in there. You can't miss him.
Yeah.
Okay. So, also baptized with water, fulfilling the foreshadowing of Moses consecrating the priests by water.
Yeah.
All right. These are all Levites, guys.
Yeah.
Right. And what does John the Baptist say that reflects the protocols of water and fire? Right. Because we saw this, right? Okay. This is how you're going to treat these clothes, these fabrics, either by water or by fire.
Yeah.
All right. Matthew 3:11, I baptize you with water for repentance, but after me comes the one who is more powerful than I, whose sandals I am not worthy to carry. Some translations may say to not untie. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. All right. So let's take a look at Leviticus 55 through 59. Let's see. Then the Cohen is to re-examine it after the mark has been washed. And behold, hey, behold, man, good job on washing them marks. All right. Behold, if the mark has not changed its color and has not spread, it is unclean. You are to burn it in the fire, whether the rot, za'arat. It's called it the rot. I guess maybe that's where we get rot from.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it from za'arat. All right. I love saying that because it makes me think of Dune. You are the Za'arat. All right. Dune. I don't even know if they say Za'arat, but it sounds like some Dune language. All right. Is inside or outside. If the Cohen looks and sees the mark has faded after it has been washed, then he is to tear it out of the garment. Tear it out, or the leather, or weaving, or texture. But if it appears again in the garment, either in the weaving, the texture, or in anything made of leather, it is spreading. You are to burn it with fire, whatever has the mark, the garment or weaving or texture or whatever leather item it is that you have washed. If the mark has departed from it, it is to be washed. Let me see. If it has departed from it, is to be washed a second time and will become clean. This is the Torah of the mark of Za'arat in a garment of wool or linen, either in the weaving, the texture, or in anything of leather, to pronounce it clean or pronounce it unclean. All right. So let's see. Now the thing I would ask, I'm asking y'all, because some of y'all, maybe you do some sewing or anything like that, knitting or what have you. I would ask how once this hole has been cut in this garment, what good is it? Is it still any good anymore? Because when we're talking about a hole that's being cut in it, right? It's not like a tear. There's fabric that tear, like it got ripped or something. Well, the fabric is still there, right? You can stitch that back together. But a hole, y'all, that's a subtraction of fabric.
Yeah.
That's fabric that would have to be added back. You know, so they're gonna have these cutouts in their clothes. It's like full on 80s fashion. Right? we gonna have these holes in their clothes and stuff like that. It's like, I might just start a new fashion, right? I'm just going out with these holy clothes. It's holy clothes, right? I got my holy clothes, right? And praise, praise Adonai.
Remember those denim pouches that they used to carry at the grocery store?
I think so. With iron on.
Like the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, I've tried those. Yeah.
See, that's what they needed.
I guess so. But that's, but I'm like wondering, it's like, well, what do they do with that? It's like, okay, I can cut a hold of my clothes, I'm gonna wash it, I'm gonna wear it again, I'm gonna go show it to the priest. But,
Gotta patch it.
Yeah, gotta patch it. All right, so, or do like what do they call it? Darning, like do like a darning stitch on it, it's because you don't want to add new fabric back to it. You're gonna have to but I don't know if that's just not gonna work out. Right? Because, anyway. So let's take Mark 2:21, where it says, no one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment.
Yeah.
All right? Otherwise, the new piece will pull away from the old.
Yeah.
Making the tear worse. All right? So when washed with new fabric, y'all, this is going to shrink away from the old. So, but more importantly, y'all, we're talking about leprous fabric here. And not just in this right here, we're not talking about just washing, but if the fabric is leprous, why are you going to add new fabric to it? Right? So we got to make sure that this is all out.
Yeah.
Okay? So this isn't, now the thing is, when Jesus gives them this lesson, y'all, this is the main key. This is Jesus doing this all the time, and this is another example of it. This isn't Jesus giving them some new parable, right? You guys see where this is going? Because Jesus does this over and over again, right?
Yeah.
That's how we know it's him.
Yeah.
That's how we know it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus, what's this strange lesson that you're giving us, and the wine skins and fabrics and stuff like that? Okay. And Jesus like, man, that don't sound familiar to you?
Right.
That's what it comes down to, y'all. It's like, man, that was me. That was me giving you those ordinances. These strange ordinances. They're still going to line up scientifically.
Absolutely.
Y'all going to try to say, oh, this is this superstitious, primitive-minded nonsense. Oh, my goodness, actually, they were correct.
Yeah. Quarantining sick people and washing your hands a lot.
Right? It's like these laws that the Lord put in there for hygiene and stuff like that, for people's safety, without compromising the flow of the economy and stuff like that. It's like Jesus, had a very common sense, still has a common sense approach to these things. But at any rate, y'all, Jesus is these statutes that he set up back then. They're very stark. It's like, wow, man, how do you miss it? It's like, okay, this is interesting. I think that's gonna stay with it. It should stand out in your mind for a while. So Jesus is like, hey, this sound familiar, right? So it wasn't some new parable that he was giving them. He was reflecting them and pointing them back to the law that he gave back then. It's like, yeah, dude, that was me, right? Yeah. You recognize me? All right. So the procedure, y'all, of water, the fire, the animal skins, the leather, and the moral lesson here is, don't try to make the atonement. Don't try to take the atonement that I make for you and try to stitch it to you trying to uphold a religion.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that. See, y'all, the Jews were given this. For all intensive purposes, it was a religion. It's not a religion for us. Yeah. It's not meant to be a religion for anybody else. Only the Jews. Yeah. For one simple reason. To recognize the Redeemer when he shows up. That's all it's about.
Amen.
That's it, right? The sacrifices, the protocols with these concerning leprosy, all of it, even the leprosy. These things that are they're very stark things. They're things that are seared into your mind.
Yeah.
Right? There's no excuse, basically for this reason. So there's no excuse for the Jews to not recognize the Redeemer when he showed up.
Amen.
All right? They were made the exclusive custodians of this to keep this law. Our Redeemer would come through them, right? To redeem them
whether they want to be redeemed or not, and nobody replaces them. Right? Like I said, even if there's one Jew left, and he's the only one who decides that I believe in Jesus, then that is the nation of Israel, and they will not be replaced.
Amen.
All right. So our Redeemer comes through them, but he does these things so we recognize him when he shows up. That's what it's all about. It's not a religion for them. It's like people wonder why they don't have these statutes. You know, they don't do a lot of these things anymore because Jesus had already made atonement for it. Right. And there's no place that's ordained for them to keep doing these things. Right. So the lesson is done. The Redeemer has shown up and says, yeah, man, I'm the fulfillment of all this. All this stuff was talking about me.
Yeah.
I've come, I've gone. If you missed it, that's on you.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's on you. Right? So that's what it's all about, y'all. And Jesus is saying, don't try to take this grace that I've given you and try to stitch it, you know, and try to stick to this old law. Because what did we say earlier? We all spiritual lepers, y'all. Right? Our inside, our outside, our clothing, all leprous, right? And we're gonna assume that we're gonna try to tear this out of us, you know, and you know, in this new time where the Lord has already come, whether you accepted him or not.
Yeah.
You know, the Lord to come, he didn't reset this thing. We on his time now.
Right.
We've always been on his time.
That's true.
But when he came into the world, it's like, okay, the whole world, whether the world wants to admit it or not, it's under his watch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always, but you know what I'm saying, right? I've made the atonement, all right? So whether you agree with it or not, I'm that new piece.
Yeah.
And you can't take this new piece and sew it on the thing of old. It ain't gonna work.
That's so good.
You know what I'm saying? So nobody can live up to their religions, y'all. Nobody can. According to everybody's religion, y'all, like I said, everybody's hellbound. Everybody's a leper.
Yeah.
Right? All fall short. We all do. Right? And there's too many thinking also, y'all. There's the dynamic of too many people thinking that they can mix the fabrics of beliefs.
Oh,
right?
Definitely.
Like we were talking, my buddy Joe Messina and I, we were talking about, you got Christians out there reading tarot cards, having tarot readings and stuff like that. You know, doing these other new age things. It's all ancient paganism and it's satanic.
Yeah.
Right? I don't care how benign or benevolent it may seem like that. If it ain't a God, man, it's the devil. Period.
Yeah.
The devil masquerades as an angel of light.
He sure does. We don't take that seriously.
Yeah, people don't. It's, praise be to God, we do. We know what's up,
Amen.
right? But you know that it's the truth. A lot of people, seriously or not, if it's serious business, if they're assuming to be Christians, but looking to be fulfilled in other things, trying to find something to complete them or something that they can have faith in or seek comfort in. Yeah. When the Lord himself is like, dude, man, I send you the comforter. I am the sufficient one. What, are you calling me a liar? You know? So people are doing these things, that's mixing fabrics, right? And that really gets leprosy into the fabric, right?
Does.
And that's a disease that gets in your flesh.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Down into your, of course, we're not talking about the kind of leprosy where you see it eating away at your skin, but your flesh is killing you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's supposed to be the other way around. You follow Jesus, you're supposed to kill your flesh, right? Be a living sacrifice to the Lord, right? Yeah. Not the other way around. So that's what we're talking about. All this, and people trying to, especially when they call themselves Christians. Okay, you're gonna go with the trappings of Christianity and claim to be a Christian. You're gonna take that new patch and you're gonna sew it onto some old leprous stuff. The leprosy's still in there, man. You're gonna try to put a patch on that. You're gonna try to put a patch of the Lord on that. The Lord be like, no.
Right.
Right? No. Okay, so, and these are the people, y'all. These are the people who feel like something is missing. They always feel like something is missing.
Yeah.
They've got a hole. They've got a hole, right? Assuming that they can cover it. You say, yeah, Jesus he can cover that hole. He can fill that hole up. But if you're gonna try to have Jesus, as the word says, man, you can't be serving two masters.
Yeah.
Even if that, whether it's Jesus, whether it's money, or trying to serve your religion or something like that, trying to live up to the tenets of your religion and stuff like that, it ain't gonna work. Your philosophies, your beliefs, your feelings, or anything like that, it ain't gonna hold up.
Right.
Right? That stuff has leprosy in it.
Yes, it does.
All right. So, now, when you have like just any of this stuff, you're gonna feel empty, right? It's just gonna you're gonna feel incomplete.
Right.
Against the Lord saying that, yeah, man, I'm the sufficient one, right? So all that sort of stuff, man. Whether you'll have these people who they'll be looking to be fulfilled despite their feelings, their habits, their addictions, their false ideals of fulfillment, closure, all that sort of stuff. They'll be seeking fulfillment in. It ain't gonna work, right? Now, with that, y'all, you're gonna have this sense of, even if you feel like, well, I've got Jesus and I know Jesus and all that sort of stuff, but you feel like you're being torn apart, right? You feel like you're just tearing apart from the inside. That's why. Because you can't hold on to these leprous ideas. So many Christians, that's why you see so many falling away from the faith.
Yeah.
They feel unfulfilled. The apostasy that we're seeing.
So sad.
I haven't gotten my experience. I don't feel like, I've made my connection with God, or there's these things that they feel like they should be able to do or should be able to see, or the things that make it so evident that they really are a Christian and stuff like that. This evidence that they're supposed to see. You can't do that. These things will leave you feeling like you're being torn apart. The word of God is telling you, look, man, I'm that new patch, but you still got leprosy in your perspective.
Wow.
In the fabric of your existence, the leprosy is still there. And you're trying to touch it. I will tear away from that. I'm going to tear away from it. And you will feel like you're being torn apart.
Oh, preach it.
That's what we end up with.
Yeah.
All right. So, y'all, that being said, you got to get into the counsel of the Holy Spirit and more than square, say, hey, Lord, your word says you make me a new creature. I want to be a new creature.
Yes.
According to what you say a new creature is.
Yes.
I don't want you to make me a new creature in my old creatureness.
Exactly.
Right? I don't want to try to feel I don't want to be made to feel comfortable in my habits, in my beliefs, in my ideas, and all these sort of things like that. That's what a lot of people want. A lot of people want that.
Yeah.
That's what they want to be. They want to be able to stay who they are, and who they are is fine, and you should just accept them and stuff like that, and all that sort of stuff.
No.
And you can't do that, because that's just saying, hey, Jesus, I just want you, I don't actually want you to forgive me of my sins. I don't want you to make me a new creature. I want, this is who I'm comfortable being. I'm comfortable in this.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with what's familiar. I just want to keep on revisiting this over and over and over again. And I want you to make it comfortable for me.
Mm-hmm. Good word.
That's
Very
leprosy.
Good word. Yeah.
That's just, it's still in you. And Jesus, the one who's made atonement for us, the one who came and gave us that new patch to cover that hole that we feel in our lives. Right? Jesus is like, no, I'll tear away from that.
Yeah.
You want to stay with the leprosy.
Yes.
And Jesus is like, I ain't here to do that.
Yeah.
Right? All right, y'all. Well, there we go.
That was a great word tonight.
Oh, right on. The Lord going to hook up a good word.
Oh, yeah.
He packs that holy hookah, man. That's right.
But ultimately, repentance is supposed to lead to regeneration.
Yes. That's the freedom.
Yeah, it is.
Right? That's the freedom. You want to be free from this leprosy, man.
Yes.
Man, I'm telling you, man, this mug, man, whatever you drink, man, it's going to make it mug looking good. I was like, good to the last drop. ZOpium Den mug. Right? That's right. I'm a jukebox full of them jingles, baby. All right.
Jeez.
So, thank you guys so much. And Lord, we hope that our study was a blessing to you. We thank you. It's like, it was definitely a blessing to us. You be blowing our minds.
Yes.
And so we'll take this as the straight up shot. That people will get. This is the treatment to get that leprosy, that spiritual leprosy out of us. Lord, thank you for hooking it up, because we know that in your shots ain't no weird stuff in it.
right? We know we can count on you to be not putting like, weird preservatives and, any other nefarious things in there to make it weird. We know that you're going to give the goods, to help us, get through this world, Lord. And, we want to be able to, occupy here and, inherit the kingdom as well. And where we don't have to worry about this stuff anymore. And we thank you so much for that. We want to thank you for all eternity. We want to party with you forever, herpes free. And for y'all who are listening, y'all, we thank you so much. You're a blessing to us. We hope we'd like to think that our fellowship and our study is a blessing to the Lord. We're so thankful that you guys are here. And thank you for supporting and, for sharing the vids, that you guys want to help us to get this salt and light word out there as we report of who the Lord is.
Yeah.
And so we thank you guys so much. Like I said, for the support, the message is free, delivering it's not. And so, thank you for helping us to keep the lights on and grow, with these messages and be able to put them in, mediums that are, that don't compromise the message, but, may be more interesting to, other people, some eye candy, some ear candy and stuff like that. Not ear tickling, but, put it in a way, like I said, not compromising the message.
Yes.
Just presenting it in interesting ways and stuff like that. So we really appreciate your prayers and your support to help us do that. All right, y'all. So that was Leviticus 13, all 3 parts.
Where can they catch up on the first 2 parts? On your website?
Yeah, they'll be in the playlist. I got the ZOpium Den playlist, so you can backtrack through that. So yeah, of course at the website. And all that to say, just if you tune in, if you feel like you missed something, we got them all. They're all in there, and try to keep
Serpent Media.
BronzeSerpentMedia.com. I try to be as organized as possible. You guys, I can use your prayers on that too. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Blessings and shalom.
Shalom.
I ain't got no more coffee.